Hi guys, it's Sarah from MasterChef and I've got a great recipe for you today. Today we're going to be cooking a crumbed pork loin steak with Pico De Gallo. We've got these beautiful Australian pork loin steaks today and the quality of these steaks is amazing. They're beautifully pink, there's a nice layer of fat on it, but they're also quite lean and healthy for you. So today's recipe is going to be amazing. So before we get started on the pork, let's get all the things ready for our crumb. I've got 1 egg here in a shallow bowl and I'm just going to beat that lightly. Great. So, back to our pork steaks. What I'm going to do is just season both sides quite generously with some salt and pepper. Great. Okay, so now I have the beaten egg, some plain flour, and some panko crumbs. And before I start breading these pork steaks, all I'm going to do is turn on my oil to about a medium heat. All right, so we take the seasoned pork steak, we place it in the flour, and we just dust both sides of that steak. Just make sure it's nice and evenly coated. And then all we're going to do is repeat with the second one. And then take the pork steak and dip it into the egg wash. Just like that. Make sure all the surfaces of the pork steak are covered in the egg wash, otherwise your panko crumb's not going to stick to it. All right, let's place that in the panko. Okay. Press it down, get it nice and coated. Make sure you get that panko all the way around. And panko is just breadcrumbs really, so you could use any type of breadcrumbs, you could make your own breadcrumbs, but I like panko. It has like this nice kind of shard-like texture. Now our oil's hot and now it's time to deep fry these. So it's on a medium heat, about 160 to 170 degrees. And all we're going to do is just carefully lay the pork steaks into the oil, and they should start bubbling up nicely. So while our steaks are frying off nicely, we're looking for a golden brown color. We're going to work on our Pico De Gallo, or a salsa basically. So all that's involved is some fresh red tomatoes, and all we're going to do is just cut them in half, cut them into slices and then cube them. So really, it's nothing too difficult, you know, you don't have to be too neat about it. Just cut them into slices and then cut the other way around. Actually, the rougher the better, to be honest. It gives you some texture. Now to the chopped tomatoes, I'm adding some onion, and we're going to cut the onion very finely. Now adjust the amount of onion to your preference. You know, a lot of people like quite just a subtle flavor of onion. So I'm just going to use about half an onion today. And again, all I'm doing is just cutting them into slices and then finally chopping them the other way around. I'm going to run my knife through it again, just to get sort of finer chops. That pork is sounding so good. So add the onion to the chopped tomatoes, and to that I'm going to add 2 jalapenos. You can remove the seeds if you don't like your Pico De Gallo too spicy. I kind of like it a little bit hot, so I'm just going to leave the seeds in. Just slice them lengthways and then slice them thinly this way. Okay, let's add all of that to the chopped tomatoes and onion. Right. So let's just take a look at our steaks, our crumbed pork steaks here. They're beautifully dark and golden brown. That's wonderful. So all I'm going to do is take them out and drain them on a rack that's over a tray. That looks great. All right, let's continue with our Pico De Gallo. The next thing, I'm just going to add the juice of 1 lime. So remember, just give it a little bit of a roll under your hand, and that kind of breaks up all those cells and makes it really juicy. All right, slice it that way. Just give a good squeeze. Nice. Yeah, all right. Then what I'm gonna do is add some fresh coriander leaves and just roughly chop these as well. Add that to the bowl. Got some really nice colors going on in here. All right, guys, let's season this with some salt and pepper. Add a little drizzle of olive oil. So let's just give this all a nice mix. Oh, those colors and that lime is just so, so good. Oh, this is gonna go so well with that crumbed pork. All right, let's put that to the side for now and let's get working on cutting our pork steaks. All right, so I've got these beautifully deep fried crumbed pork steaks here. And all I'm gonna do is slice it at a slight angle. Kind of gives it a nice look. So here we go. Guys, this is fantastic. There is just the slightest blush of pink. It's fantastic. Because Australian pork is of such high quality, you can have that little blush of pink. It makes it so much more tender and juicy. It's so exciting, and that's the way pork should be eaten. All right, guys, let's start plating up. Got a nice share plate here. And all I'm gonna do is place those beautiful pork slices down one end of the plate. Just kind of fan it out a little bit. That's beautiful. A nice generous serve of that chunky Pico De Gallo. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that. Let's garnish with a few fresh leaves of coriander. Just roughly. A drizzle of olive oil. There you have it, guys. A super easy, super delicious crumbed pork loin steak with a chunky Pico De Gallo, a nice, beautiful, vibrant salsa to go with it. Happy days.